Yeah, we found these and we thought, oh, we're gonna start tiny desk interviews, and I feel like I already regret doing this in these chairs.
Welcome to the Hall Monitors podcast, a podcast brought to you by the City of DeSoto's communications team, recorded right here at City Hall.
Back in the day, it was the hall monitors that kept an eye on the halls of this old school building. Now we're keeping an eye on the big projects, decisions, and stories shaping our city. So grab your hall pass and let's take a walk, not a run, through DeSoto's past, present, and future.
This is the Hall Monitors podcast.
Let's get to class. Forgot the bell.
That was the bell.
Welcome to the Hall Monitors podcast. This is our first episode, and because the entire podcast pays homage to City Hall as it used to be a schoolhouse building, we wanted the first podcast episode to be over the history of City Hall a little bit and then the upcoming renovation project. And today we have with us somebody who has been through the stages of this building more than many people, our Mayor Rick Walker. So welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, first we'll go over a little bit of the history of the building. It was built in 1919 as a high school, and then over the years, it just grew with the community and transitioned into a junior high building. When did you go? Am I allowed to ask that? When did
Sure.
you go to school year, and
Yeah.
then was it high school or junior high?
Junior high. I came here in junior high in, let's see, that would have been 74, 1974. No, 73
Okay,
as a seventh grader,
seventh grade.
12 years old,
It was seventh to ninth.
seventh, eighth, ninth. Yeah.
Do you think that you ever sat in these desks? We found these desks in the dungeon. For
Yeah,
the
no,
music department.
without a doubt, these were either in the music trailer. Music used to be in a trailer where the the pool bathhouse is. There was a portable trailer that was the music room, or they were in the band room, which is where the Chamber of Commerce office is.
So this is actually a trick question. I thought you told me the other day that you were a drummer, and I thought drummers never sat.
When we're waiting on the other parts of the band to practice, we get to sit down.
Oh, okay. Is that how that works? Yeah, we found these and we thought, oh, we're gonna start tiny desk interviews, and I feel like I already regret doing this in these chairs. And then the dungeon. Was it always called the dungeon? I know it was right next to the student lounge.
Yeah, I think it was called the Dungeon. It was the old basketball court, I think, in the original construction, and then with a remodel, they split that room and made a library above it. So the little piece of it that was more finished was a student lounge. It's also a civil defense shelter, so that's why it was built below. But yeah, when we would go in there for tornado drills, I remember there wasn't even a flooring on the part beyond the door in that dungeon. So it was just like dirt, and they would raise up clouds of dust when you're under there. So they'd yell at you to stand still so you didn't stir up the dust.
Can you remember a favorite teacher or call out your favorite teacher? Yeah.
We had some interesting teachers then. One of my favorites was, his name's Ron Marsh. He was a professional boxer. He's taught PE, taught science. I think I had him for both, but Mr. Marsh played football with Gale Sayers at KU. He was a professional boxer, like I said. He just had a lot of interesting stories. Probably some PE stuff that you wouldn't do now. He brought in boxing gloves and let a bunch of eighth graders just wail on each other in the gym, with some instruction.
It's so funny that you bring this up because we actually reached out to Monica to see if you had any junior high gossip to share with us. How do you tell a story on? And she said, have him tell you about the boxing.
Mr. Marsh and the
teacher.
boxing. It was an interesting segment in the junior high PE curriculum that year.
Your wife, Monica, you went to school the same time, right? You're in the same
Yep,
grade.
same grade.
Who was a better student?
Oh, I probably was,
This is going to be public.
I'm
Right,
sure.
we'll see this. We'll tell her immediately after this. We're going to text her.
Oh, yeah. No, Monica was definitely more quiet than me, but she got good grades too.
Oh.
Less trouble.
Okay, so after serving the community as a school building for about 75 plus years in the late 90s, it was sold to the city.
$10.
That was my pop quiz. How
Oh.
much was it? $10.
$10.
Now, why was it so cheap?
It was essentially when you transfer a property, there has to be some value assigned to it. Essentially, it was given away, but $10 was put in the deed. And I don't know if the school board ever got the $10, but I assume the transfer of $10 actually happened.
That's good. Was it just costly to renovate too, right?
Yeah, the school sat empty for a few years after it was no longer needed by the school district. So, there was some roof issues. Just there was a lot of ongoing maintenance stuff that needed to be taken care of, and probably gave the council that made the decision to accept it and head down that path, gave them some questions as they were starting down there when one of your first projects is replacing the expensive roof, and then you're looking at $1 million renovation and thinking, "Man, that's a big project. This thing's gonna take a lot of money."
It was a lot of money, and what were the biggest pieces of that? What was the biggest pieces, and what was not renovated?
Well, the renovation was, I mean, the initial money was just spent to make it weather tight and fix a roof that was leaking and update some heating. This was all steam heat with boilers in different parts of the building. So it was 70 years old and with a couple of building additions. So very expensive mechanical upgrades. And then the windows were all old wooden double hung windows, no air conditioning, just a lot of stuff. But the renovation really was only to get one floor, available for offices for the city staff to occupy.
So just the main level or first level. Was there anything done in the basement for that time?
Sprinkler system and elevator, but more or less just knocking holes in the wall to let piping go through for the sprinkler system and plumbing stuff that was happening upstairs.
So expensive, but not a whole building renovation.
Certainly not.
Now, 25 years later, we're getting our first big renovation again, something that is covering the entire building. So why is this needed now?
In 25 years, our staff has grown from basically a city clerk and a utility billing clerk to adding the city engineer and a city planner and a director of communications, city attorney, a building codes official. So our staff is growing as our community grows, and it's just the need for more space to meet the needs of the community. Also, look at what could fall down on us, right? If we
We're risking our lives right now. There's a lead pipes right behind me.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, this has been an ongoing process. If you were to see this room, you'd see that all the old tile that was asbestos flooring tile, those were abated and removed. We've checked for asbestos and other abatement issues over the years in the past, and kind of setting this space up for a renovation at some point, and now it's time to take it on.
While we're up here, so the second floor is the heart of this renovation since it was never done before. Can you walk us through some of the biggest changes happening on the second floor?
Sure. So right now we're in Mr. Zimmerman's science room. I'm pretty sure this was where Mr. Zimmerman held court with earth science. And essentially what we're going to do upstairs is refinish the space to create finished offices for our staff, allow us to spread stuff out downstairs where we're compressed into the space that we have so that we can put the administrative functions all together in one area and our financial group together in an area and our utility billing group together. And then upstairs, likewise, we can do the same and create working pods for our building codes and building inspections and our planning group and communications, and then have another big conference room where we can all get together directly above the council chambers.
And then what's happening on the first floor?
The first floor, we're going to convert that finished space that we already have and make it more usable for the functions that we have going on. Move an office pod together for the administrative group. So the city administrator and assistant and city attorney will all be clustered together because their functions overlap and they work together. Group like functions and departments so that there's more collaboration and more efficient workspace. So the 4 quadrants of that floor, then, where the office spaces are now, will be divided up and reconfigured so they allow that kind of departmental functions to happen. Some additional conference rooms to make sure we have space for the courts so that the attorneys have space to meet, and we have conference space during the day when we're using it for city functions.
What is going into the basement, also known as the garden level?
So the terrace or garden level, which is largely unfinished, where we have the Arts Council has a room down there. We have one of the old classrooms is storage, and then part of it's been chopped out for an ADA ramp. We're going to rework that ramp so that we can get the office space or the open space adjacent to the windows and create some creative space there that is usable. Refinish all the floors, refinish the floors in the Arts Council room, get a uniform look on that floor, add restrooms to that area so that those rooms and those functions will have restrooms available, and then finish the ceiling and give that a finished look that it's been lacking for the last 25 years.
And it's not just inside the building. What's going on the outside?
The outside, we're gonna add some landscaping in the front, sprinkled areas. We started adding some art, so we're gonna enhance the landscaping to accent the art pieces that we've got going up, replace some of the sidewalk, and just a facelift to the landscaping on the front to make things more attractive.
I think I'm most excited about. Apparently, we get new lights that'll shine on City Hall, and they're color changing lights. And that way, if there's something we want to celebrate, we can change the colors.
Yeah, that is
City.
a nice feature. We'll have those uplight, programmable LED lights,
Yep. High school graduation.
green.
Now, when people actually walk into City Hall, what is it going to look like? What's the difference that people will see?
I think that's a good question, Whitney. That's one of the things I'm excited about. We're going to be able to open City Hall back up to the public. We've had some security upgrades during the COVID time to make the people that work here a little safer, but we're going to revamp that security so that those office suites will be secure and the public spaces, the hallways, will be open to the public so we can display art like we used to and have City Hall open to the public. They still have the walk-up counter for utility billing questions and the like. But the entire common areas of the hallways will be available for public access, and that will be a theme that's continued from the main floor up to the second floor.
A big part of this project is making sure we honor what the City Hall building was prior and making sure we respect the historical pieces of it. So, how important was it for City Council, you, and staff to make sure that we brought those pieces out of this renovation?
For me, it was important to maintain the historic look of the building. Wanted to preserve as much as we could of the way the building that the old bricks would work with the newer windows, and that we maintained the architectural integrity of that look as much as we could. So I was excited to see some of the elements in the architect's plans were to repurpose the old blackboards that are throughout all these rooms up on the second floor into accents in the new office suites that are going to be created here. I don't know that nobody probably will use them as a chalkboard anymore, but they are there to pay homage to the school history of the facility.
Can you imagine in a just very professional meeting pulling
Chalk.
out the chalk? What part of this renovation plan are you most excited about?
Maybe that, there's twofold. I like the idea that we're opening it back up to the public, that we're gonna have more public space available throughout City Hall, and then I like that we're putting the nod in there to history, that we're gonna try and showcase the old blackboards and maintain the historical look of the building.
And then I heard a rumor that you'll actually get an office space in City Hall that is above 50 degrees.
Yes. That's what I should be most excited about today, because it is about 50, 60 degrees in that office that we've created for the mayor down there,
What for the
which
people
was the
that
old teacher's
Yeah,
lounge.
yeah.
If you remember the building, that's where I'm sitting now, is in the old teacher's lounge, and the heat's not working very good in there.
It's a concrete block
Block. Yeah, it's
office.
block wall. I think that's a 40s or early 50s edition that was built with the shop garage down there.
So let's talk about costs approximately. How much is this going to cost? Where are we getting the money from?
Yeah, so the City Hall renovation has been in our CIP, our capital improvement program, for, been our 5-year CIP, kind of planning it. And the money will come from bonds that we'll sell to finance the construction. There will be no tax increase associated with the bonds because they've been planned into our spending program. The City Hall project's going to cost about $3.3 million, take about a year to complete. And yeah,
So we're looking to have this finished by maybe the end of the year.
I think so. They'll be starting mid-February and complete by mid-November.
Is there anything else you want to share with
Now you have to do
with
it out of
listeners? We're
order.
so
All right.
fancy with
Yeah,
listeners.
with our listeners. Yeah, I do want to share, I guess, that for, like I said, this project's been in the CIP for 5 years. We've been talking about this particular renovation for at least 2 years. So this has been before the city council at half a dozen meetings, I guess. There's been a very long design process with the architect to get us to this point, and looking forward to the project getting started and more excited about seeing it finished.
See? Well, thank you for taking the time to chat today. Since the home monitor's job is basically to know where everyone's going, and honestly, it's the perfect job for people who like to be a little bit nosy. Where are you headed next? What are big projects that you're working on, and what are you headed to?
A fun project that we've been working on and be excited to see it open. The spring is our disc golf course. Been working to secure funds for that. We've had a number of donations to help make that possible. I'm very thankful for the support we've got from our business community to help us out with that. And when do you think we'll see that open, Whitney?
I'm opening by May.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have worked your butt off getting sponsors on that project, so it is a fully sponsored course.
And
We're building it ourselves as well.
yeah, self-performed, donated labor for the concrete work from our local construction companies, just a community effort to make this possible.
Okay. Thank you for tuning into the Hall Monitor's first ever podcast. If you want to see the layout of the new City Hall renovation, those are available on our website. Stay tuned for more stories coming up.